Hi everyone, welcome back, or if you're new here, hi, I'm Faye, and today we are testing a full face of a PIEU makeup. I hope I'm spelling that right. I will spell it on the screen so that you know what brand I'm talking about in case I'm saying it wrong. Everything we're using today was purchased from YesStyle.com. If you enjoy this video, if it's helpful, please subscribe and check out some of my other K-beauty videos. Okay, I'm gonna put my headband on and we'll dive straight in. Today we have makeup from a couple of different ranges from a PIEU. We have stuff from the Cover Pang range, the Juicy Pang range, the Full Shot range, and the Born to Be range. So let's get started with some foundation, and of course it is a cushion. This is the Cover Pang Attention Tension cushion, and I have the shade here 21. It's SPF 30 PA++, and I'm hoping this is going to be the right shade for me. I usually purchase shade 21 in Korean foundations and BB creams. We have our little puff here. I quite like this. It's got like a little teardrop kind of shape, which is a little more unusual. I do also have a sponge here waiting in case I need it, because sometimes I don't get on with these, particularly with the edges, like making marks on my face, but we'll try it and see how we get on. So satisfying. Ha! Wow, that has a lot of foundation on the back of it. Okay, so what we're gonna do is not take foundation from this. We're gonna take foundation from this because I don't like waste. So the colour is definitely okay. I can say it's definitely kind of a thicker formula, like it's taking a little bit of work to blend it out, but it's looking pretty nice so far. It feels like a slightly more matte. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, I think we're ready to go into the actual compact now that I've used that up. So it has a sort of mesh rather than a sponge. I feel like it is sitting on top of my pores just a little bit. So I am just going to put this away for a second and use my damp sponge instead and see what happens, because I find a sponge like this a whole lot easier to use because you don't have to worry about the edge of the pad touching your face and making a line. It's certainly a lot easier to use around the nose and the eye area. You can definitely build up the coverage with this. So I'm doing on these areas where I get a little red. It does feel a tiny bit heavy right now, but I think the coverage is good. The colour is really good for me, and I'm cautiously optimistic. Okay, let's move into some concealer. This is also from the Cover Pang range. It says the Longwear Concealer, and I have the shade 2. Okay. Might be a little bit dark for me. This might be a good like blemish concealer. I'm not sure about under the eyes. It might be a little bit dark. Does feel like a nice formula though. It's liquidy, it's not too thick but not too watery. It's blending really easily. How much coverage are we getting? Let's put a bit more on. You can see if you use a finger, it does blend quite far. You don't need a huge amount of product. In fact, I think a sponge is going to be needed to absorb a bit of the excess there. Let's just try it. I have a bit of redness. It's definitely matching well with the foundation for a blemish concealer. Usually I would use a colour corrector as well as a concealer to cancel out that blue, but I think by itself it's doing a reasonable job. I would definitely call it medium coverage rather than full coverage. Now, moving on to my favourite category, which is blush, and I have two different Juicy Pang blushes. I have the Juicy Pang liquid blush and the Juicy Pang jelly blush. So I think this is the shade Strawberry and this is the shade PK01 Plum. So this looks like nail varnish, which kind of threw me off when I opened it, but it definitely says blusher on it, so I'm not about to put nail varnish on my face because that would obviously be horrible. But it literally has like a nail varnish brush, so I'm not sure how you're supposed to apply this. I'm not sure I want to brush it directly on my face. I think what I will do is I will pop some just on the back of my hand here. It's really freaking me out that it looks like nail varnish. Okay, it's a pretty shade though. And I'm going to go in with my normal spongy sponge. Okay, let's pop a bit on here. Oh, I think it's quite sheer. I think it's going to be quite subtle. Oh, it smells. Not bad. It smells like strawberry. Like the shade is strawberry and it kind of smells like strawberry. That's pretty nice. You probably could put this straight on the face. You can see when I'm tapping it with my sponge here, it's going very sheer. It is definitely fluid and liquidy, and if I brushed it on my face, it probably wouldn't be a disaster, but I prefer to be cautious. Oh, the smell of strawberry is really nice. Like, it's not a horrible, sickly, like fake smelling strawberry. It's actually a really nice smell. What I do like here is I feel like it's not taking away too much coverage from the foundation, because sometimes when you put on a very liquidy blush, it can sort of dissolve your foundation, but I feel like it's holding up reasonably well here. Okay, I'm a fan of this. This is going to be really lovely, I think, as well for more natural makeup days, because it is quite a subtle colour. I have applied quite a lot, which possibly shouldn't have done, seeing as I've got a second blush, but I like it. It smells like strawberry. It's going to be lovely for a natural makeup day, I think, particularly with that really sheer fluid formula. So now this is the Juicy Pang Jelly Blush, and it almost looks like a powder sitting in the pan here, but it is sort of damp slightly to the touch. It's a weird feeling, to be honest. It's like a dense sponge. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna dip my sponge straight in here. Again, I'm not sure how pigmented this is gonna be. I can't tell what's happening. I've already got blush on. Let me put it up here. Okay. Okay, it is showing up. It just wasn't showing up because I had so much blusher on my cheek already. So this is a slightly cooler tone, as you would expect from the shade name Plum. I am doing my usual thing where I go absolutely mad with blush. This is more matte. This is a bit more dewy, a bit more glossy. This is definitely a bit more matte, but it's blending very nicely. Moving on to highlight, and it's also a Juicy Pang jelly formula. This is the Jelly Beam highlighter in 02, and it's the same sort of bouncy, spongy formula as the blush we just tried. This looks really pretty. It's like a pink gold reflect. So let's get a clean bit of sponge. Is it showing up? I can't see it right now. Oh, yeah, I can see a bit of gold. Hopefully this isn't going to be too dark for me. It is sitting on top of my pores a little bit. I think because it is a more matte formula. Like it's barely a cream. It's almost between a cream and a powder. It's very difficult to describe. So, as things stand, without being set, the foundation is still a bit tacky. It's not super wet, but it's also not dried down. So it's sort of more of a demi-matte, middle-of-the-road type of formula in that it's not really sticky, but I would still set it. The blush and these jelly formulas, these actually are quite matte. They're almost like a cream to sort of powder finish. Not quite powder, but definitely these feel matter than the actual foundation. So I'm going to set the face. A powder is actually the one thing that I don't have from the PIEU range, because I did order one, but it was just like consistently out of stock. And when that happens on YesStyle, basically they get in touch with you and they're like, this one product that we have no idea when it's going to be back in stock is just holding up your entire order. So we're going to refund you for that product, dispatch all the rest of your items. So that's what they did. I'm totally fine with that. You don't want your products being held up for months and months and months when they have no idea if a product's going to come back into stock or not. So did order a powder, but don't have a powder, but I am going to just use another K-Beauty powder. This is the Innisfree No Sebum Moisture Powder. So I'll quickly set my face with that. I'm going to focus on the areas away from where I've put that blush and highlight, because like I said, those almost feel sort of matte as it is. So I'll just do like the T-zone and the bottom of the cheeks here and be right back. Now that we've set the face, we can move on to eyeshadow, and I have a very cute little palette here. It's from the Full Shot range, and it is number 2 Sulky Bunny. It's very cute here. Now, PIEU also do eyeshadows that are mono eyeshadows, so I also have a single eyeshadow, but I didn't realise that it's the same shade as this. Should have read things more carefully. So we won't be using this today, but just to let you know that you can get particularly these sort of glitter shades as singles if you want to. But I think this looks really nice. You've got like a nice blending, like base shade, a nice sort of crease shade here, these two, for sort of creating a little depth to the eye. You've got a beautiful glitter. So I'm really hoping this is going to be nice and impactful. So what I need, first of all, is a brush. Let's grab a EcoTools brush. I love these brushes. Okay, first I'm going to take a little bit of this matte shade and just lay it down all over the eye so that we have a nice base to blend on. And I like this. This is just the right colour for my skin tone personally, where it's not really showing up, and that's kind of what I want, because I just want something that the other things are going to blend over nicely. Next, I'm going to go into this pink shade. I'm just going to use the same brush. And these eyeshadows are not giving up a lot of powder here. So they're not kicking up really badly, which is nice. It's not a mess, but I'm still getting a reasonable amount on my brush. They feel soft, finely milled. Let's see how they blend. What I tend to find with the Korean shadows that I've tried is that they're not they're often not as pigmented as Western eyeshadows. They tend to be a little more soft, a little more subtle, a little more natural. And I think that's really just because of the types of makeup that are trending in different parts of the world. And the Korean kind of beauty look is really not as intense and in your face as a lot of Western makeup. Okay, I'm impressed with this eyeshadow. I really like these eyeshadows. The formula is really soft and they're all staying in the pan. It's not dusting everywhere. It's like a nice level of just easy everyday pigment for a nice girly pretty eye look. Now I'm going to go into the brown shade and just concentrate this in the crease. I like that they've got the Full Shot, like the name of the eyeshadow, printed in one of the shadows. I think that's quite a nice design. I think I'd like it if this shade of brown was a tiny bit warmer, but that's just personal preference. Okay, time for the exciting shade. I'm going to use my finger because I just always tend to use my finger for glitters. Ooh, it's soft. Ooh, pretty. I like that it's keeping in with the kind of pink gold thing that I've got going on with that like jelly highlight. I like that the glitter is nice and fine, like it's not a super chunky glitter, it's really fine and more sort of shimmery than chunky glittery, which is really pretty. And I think, you know, if you took this on a brush, you could really just disperse it into a really fine, subtle glitter if you wanted to. Okay, now we have some things from the Born to Be range, which come in these massive, enormous, bright orange packets, which I wasn't expecting. But we have the Born to Be liquid liner. I'm terrible at liquid liner, so if this goes very badly, please blame me and not necessarily the product. We have the Born to Be Skinny Brow Pencil in dark brown. We also have the Born to Be Lengthening and Curling Mascara. It says Mad Proof. Not sure what that means. I think it's supposed to be waterproof, hopefully. I need waterproof mascara. I bought the shade Deep Brown because it's nice to have a brown mascara sometimes. And then I also do have a brown mascara, which is not from the same range. This just says a PIEU Skinny Brow Mascara, which I have in the shade Grey Brown. So we will brave the liquid eyeliner first. Hopefully it isn't too hard to use because I'm just not good with liquid liner. Nice fine tip. It's sort of quite firm. Okay, just go in and be brave. Okay, that was easy. That went much better than I was expecting. I'm not gonna do like a big wing because I'm super bad at it. I'm just gonna do a more sort of subtle liner. Challenge is, can I do the other eye? Okay, that didn't go horribly. I like this liner. It's pretty easy to use. It did start to clog up with the glitter a little bit and stop coming out quite as smoothly, but that is just what happens when you put liquid liner on over glitter sometimes. It's fine, you can just wipe down the tip. It'll be fine. So now, Born to Be Skinny Brow Pencil in number 1. Dark brown, typical twist up little micro thing. Got your spoolie on the other end. Let's give things a brush. Okay, so far, I think I like the colour. It's not too warm. I do have a brown mascara which is grey brown, so that will cool things down a little bit more as well. I think the formula on this is good. It's stiff. It's not like too creamy coming off too much, but you can see that there is pigment there. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that looks good. You think that's a good colour for me? I find it so hard to tell with brow products, to be honest, because my hair is so dark, but my brows are naturally quite light, so sometimes I feel like I look really weird if I fill my brows in too darkly, because I'm used to, you know, seeing myself a lot of the time without makeup on and my barely there brows. So let me know what you think. Is this a good colour for me? Should I like keep using this product? Brow gel. Let's see what this is like. Ooh, tiny wand. Not too much formula on it, which I like. I hate when you get a brow gel out and there's so much formula around the brow thing, because then it goes all over your skin, which is not where you want it. I am still gonna like tap the end off, just because sometimes you get like a little blob on the end and then it goes everywhere. Pray for me. I get so nervous when I do brow gel, because if you get tinted brow gel on your skin in a big blob, it is so hard. Okay, I like this brush. It's nice and stiff. I feel like it's separating the hairs out. Like I said, it's not got too much product on it. Seems like a good colour. Oh, I think we have another success. Okay, so far at PIEU, you are impressing me. Still not sure how I feel about the base products, but we will talk about everything in just a second. Oh, this is weird. Can you see this? There's so many fibres stuck to that brush. I guess it's one of those ones that you like put on your lashes and it like adds fibres and lengthens them. Now, bear in mind, this does say lengthening and curling. It does not say volumizing. So I am expecting a more natural mascara with a more hopefully separated lash look, but I'm not expecting it to volumize because it doesn't say that it does that. Okay, let's come up close, because I would say this is definitely a natural mascara. Here is my mascara lashes, and it's definitely brown. It's not black brown, it's full on just brown. So this might be nice more for like an everyday no makeup kind of look. There's no volume going on whatsoever, so if you buy this mascara, just don't expect any volume. I will try layering it up once I put a coat on this eye, see if we can get just a tiny bit more volume. Okay, so now we have 2 coats on this eye and 1 coat on this eye, and I think there is a little bit of a difference. Like, we did get a little bit more volume, but just a little bit. I'm also not sure whether those fibres really, there's so many of them, they're everywhere. I'm really not sure if they are like adding onto my lashes and lengthening them at all. Like, I have quite long lashes anyway. Mascara face. Okay, I'm gonna pop a little bit on the lower lashes, but I will have to stick my face in the mirror to do that, so I'll be right back. And our final product today is a lip tint. This is the Juicy Pang Sparkling Tint. Can't do a Korean look without a lip tint. The first product I want to try from any brand really is a lip tint, and wow, okay, we're matching my jumper. This was a nice coincidence because I literally did not check the colour of this. This is the shade PK01. Okay, so it's called a sparkling lip tint, and I think it actually does have little sparkles in it, but not in like a crazy way, but in like a soft, sheeny, but slightly metallic way. Like, see what I'm talking about? It's like subtle, but also like shiny and a little metallic. And it does, the color does build if you wanna build it up. But it also feels nice and soft on the lips. It's not sticky, but it is moist in a nice hydrating kind of way. Like, it's not a watery tint. It has a little bit of thickness to it. I'm really liking this so far. I've liked a lot of things so far. So let me get my hair down and then we'll have a little chat about everything that we've tried today. Okay, let's start from the start with the foundation. The formula, it's quite thick. It takes a little effort to blend onto the skin, and it did at first feel a little bit heavy and like it was sitting on top of the skin a little bit, but I feel like it kind of melted in a bit over time, and once I set it, it started to feel quite nice. I've just taken a look at it in natural light, and it does look pretty good on the skin. I did feel like it was sitting on top of my pores just a tiny bit, like because it's quite a thick formula, it wasn't really sinking into my skin in the same way that my sort of normal, more liquidy liquid foundations would. But overall, I do like it. It feels like it's going to wear quite well throughout the day. I am not going to do a check-in today, but I am going to put in the description box a little bit of information about how it wears and whether I get greasy, whether it breaks up, things like that. But I have a suspicion that it's actually going to wear quite well. The concealer, I actually really liked this. Oh, it just got foundation all over myself. I actually really liked this for the face, but under my eyes, it was a little bit dark for me personally, but it blended in really nicely with the colour of the foundation. I mean, it's from the same range, so you would hope that they'd go well together, but it really did. I felt like it sat nicely on my chin here, which is where I have a little bit more texture, a little bit more oiliness. I thought it really sort of blended in well. It's medium coverage, quite fluid. It's not going to cover absolutely everything. It is a more, like I say, medium, not full. I do feel like I need a little colour correction still under the eyes. It didn't cover everything, but I think it's going to be a nice sort of everyday concealer, and certainly for doing a little bit of blemish touch up on the face. Moving into blush, and I do prefer the liquid blusher over that's the highlight, over the jelly blusher. So I like liquid and cream blush, so I'm going to be biased towards the more liquid formula, but this had a more glowy, satiny type of finish. It was subtle, it blended really easily. It's kind of strange that it looks like a nail varnish, but it's cute, so I'm going to go with it. This was a little bit more dry, not really bad dry, but it is like almost a powder, not quite a powder sort of formula that is like a, I don't know, it's very difficult to describe, but it almost sort of turns into a powder. Like, it does go quite matte on the face, and once you've applied it, it did blend nicely. I do think it's a nice colour. For me, it's not going to be my personal preference. Maybe if you have oilier skin and you don't want like a very glowy or liquidy or creamy cream blush, you want something a little bit drier in consistency, I think this is really nice. But because it was drier, same as with the foundation, it kind of didn't blend into the skin as nicely. It kind of sat on top of the pores, and the same thing can be said about the highlight because of the texture. With my sponge, I couldn't really like push it like really into my skin. It felt like it was sitting on top a bit. That being said, I do think it's pretty. It's not the most natural because it's like pink with this like quite strong gold shift. So I'm not sure if I'd wear this on a daily basis, but I would definitely use it again. Although I do feel like my pores are a lot more visible than they normally are with my normal choice of cream highlighter. I might try this like on the eyes as like a cream to powder shadow. I don't know if that would work. Maybe. The colour is a little, like I say, it's a little bit strong on the gold shift for me personally. Yeah, not so sure about these ones. I'm not saying they're bad, I'm just not so sure about them for me personally and my sort of drier skin. It's just not blending in as nicely as I would like it to. Okay, moving on to our eyeshadow. I really like this palette. I really like the colours in it. I think the metallic is really pretty. It's more of a soft glitter rather than like a super strong chunky or like really strong metallic. Yeah, I think it's a nice shade selection. I'd like it if this shade was a little bit warmer, but overall I thought the consistency of the shadows was really, really nice and they blended really well. And if you're looking for a slightly less pigmented shadow, something easy for every day with a pop of glitter, it's a really lovely option and I'm impressed with the quality of the shadows. Moving on to our 3 Born to Be products, the mascara is poking me in the eye. Like those little fibres that were all over the brush, like I can feel them. Like a couple are definitely currently scratching my eye, so I'm not sure I like that. But it is a nice natural, like everyday, no makeup kind of mascara, particularly in this shade. And I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I just feel like those things poking me in the eye are going to be a bit of an issue. Maybe I just need to like apply it differently or better or more carefully or something. But my eye is itching. I am impressed so far with how it has not like transferred on my lower lashes, because usually I have a big problem with lower lash mascara transfer everywhere, and this is really like a very kind of, it feels very dry and almost crispy on the lashes. It might flake during the day because of that, we'll see, but so far on the lower lashes it isn't transferring at all, so that is good. Really like the liner, as I said, really easy, nice stiffness. Product came out at a reasonable speed, so it didn't go everywhere, but it also wasn't difficult to get the product out. So this gets a big thumbs up. I'll definitely be using it again. And the brow pencil I also really liked and will definitely be going into my like everyday collection of brow pencils because the shade is good, the level of pigmentation is good. It sort of came off nice and say stiffly. It didn't come off like too much product in one go. So the brow mascara, this also really like, definitely will be getting use out of. I'm interested to try this on like bare brows without the brow pencil, to see like on a more sort of just natural, or if I'm just putting a little bit of concealer, a little bit of brow gel, and you know, lip balm or something on, whether this gives a little bit more colour and makes my brows look a little bit more full without needing to go with the full pencil fill-in route. That will be interesting to see. I have a feeling that it will be really nice for that because it has some colour to it. It combed through really nicely. There wasn't a huge amount of product stuck to the brush, and overall I'm very impressed. And I also really like this. I think the level of sheen, this kind of not metallic but almost like a little bit metallic. I mean, it is called the sparkling tint, so I guess that's why, but it's really pretty. I really like it, and it's kind of dried down now, but not to like a dry where my lips feel dry. My lips feel hydrated and moisturized, but it also doesn't feel like it's going to transfer everywhere. So I'm very happy with this, and I also think the colour matches my jumper really well, which was a nice coincidence. Okay, so that was everything for today. I will put some wear testy type information in the box down below. Yeah, I think this is really successful. So far, I'm really enjoying pretty much all of these products, and I definitely think I'm going to get a good amount of use out of them. And I think my brows in particular look like a really good colour today, which is something that I often struggle with. So I really like that. Okay, I'm done. Please comment, like, subscribe, do whatever you want. Yeah, so I hope this was useful, and I will see you next time. Bye.